Here is me versus Andy Horton again, and this was in the another rapid play game with 20 minutes each on clock. I'm also black as well, so I'm always black when I play him, it seems. And this was actually the day before my 18th birthday, but it doesn't like he's in any mood to let me win in this game. He is white and opens with e4, and this time I respond symmetrically with e5. And after knight f3, knight f6, bishop c4. Two main moves here are bishop c5 and knight f6. I like to avoid the Evans gambit, so I play knight f6. I can track some people if they play knight g5. He plays d3, and after bishop c5, bishop e7 is an alternative. He plays c3, and we are going into the slow Italian, aka the Gioco Pianissimo. Basically, white's going to put these pawns on c3, d3 and e4, and although it looks tame and harmless, there is potential for d4 at the right moment being strong. It is also hard for black to get in quick counterattacks. For example, it's like Royal Lopez style pressure, but you can't get shieldman or anything like that. It's like all the gambits against this are unsound completely. Whereas Rajapov has been used as a shieldman, as a drawing weapon recently, so it can't be that bad. I played d6, and after bishop b3, which is an important move, getting the bishop out any potential d5 advances, and I play a6, another important move, which is to secure the bishop at retreat square a7 if d4 occurs. I can like taking a bishop a7, and the bishop's on a strong diagonal which will be pinning the f2 pawn when white castles. Now he castles, and I play h6, stopping any like bishop g5s that might be annoying, and after rook e1, white's plan is to reroute the knight to the f5 square, which is weak in this line, and I can't kick out with g6 because h6 is fatally weak. The plan is knight d2 to f1 to g3 to f5, and it seems bizarre, but I thought I'd take advantage of white not playing h3 with bishop g4, but this is a bad move. This pin, it's like Patsa's pin, Patsa plays pin a bit. The alternatives are to put the bishop on the correct square, which is e6, challenging white's control that diagonal, so the f pawn won't be pinned when I castle. I can simply castle, or I can drop the bishop back to a7, anticipating the d4 advance. But he plays I play bishop g4, and after knight bd2, castles h3. Really, I should drop the bishop back to e6, but I compare my misery and with bishop h5. And after knight f1, white is going to get a very pleasant position because my bishop is misplaced, and we are going to see a traffic jam on the king side. After knight e7, I want to play knight g6 to f4. He now uses the bishop's placement on h5 to his advantage, and I can't get any pieces aimed at his king, even though he's weakening it with g4. The bishop. There isn't any other way, any sacrifices. They're not. My position is strong enough. I can just play knight g3 and cover it up. And after knight g3, I'm in big trouble now because his g and f pawns are like in e pawns are clamping down on f5, and I can't really get any counterplay because my knight can't come into f4 or anything because my bishop's blocked the g6 square. And after queen d7, knight h4, my position is getting very claustrophobic. Now there's an automatic threat of well, I was worried about knight takes g6, so not sure that it's that good, but I was just worried about it. So I play bishop h7, retreating it, and after queen f3, this is looking bad already. Also, there is a threat of bishop takes h6, which is a common theme in these slow Italian positions, where if I take back then the f6 knight hangs. I play knight g6, and which challenges his knight, and he comes into f5, and look at this bind on f5, I just can't do anything to stop it, because any g6 move will weaken h6 too badly, like it'll drop straight away with check. And if I ever take his knight off with my bishop, he just takes back with his other knight, and I just cannot control the f5 square enough. And if you do not get in this position as black against this opening, do not let him get such a bind. You need some counterplay. Felt that bad. I actually just offered a pawn with knight f4 just to get some pieces off, but of course I'm just a pawn down from still worse position. He just happily takes him off. But it's just really anything to get rid of that bishop. At least I've got the bishop pair. Maybe it's a bit of compensation, but there's nothing here. I'll take his knight off. If I give the bishop pair back straight away by taking his knight off, which was the idea. And now again he's threatening knight takes h6 check, and then taking my knight on f6 if I take back. So I play knight h7, retreating the knight. And now there isn't an immediate breakthrough on the king's side, but white is a solid pawn up. and he's got a strong central pawn majority now because I lost my e-pawn. So he turns his attention to the centre and plays d4 with tempo, kicking my bishop back. And after bishop a7, e5 straight away is very strong, hitting my d6 point. And say if I take, or say if I push with d5 or something, then he's got this strong pawn, protected pawn in e5 now, and he can play like h4, g5 and calm me open. Just awful. Instead he plays a quieter move, king h2, which is preparing to bring a rook to the g line and try and force through g5, ripping open lines, which will lead to a quick conclusion. I bring my rook into the game, and now the strongest move is h4. This takes the g5 square away from the knight and gets rid of all black's counterplay, but it allows me a little bit of counterplay in the game. After rook g1, I can play knight g5, and I'm immediately threatening rook takes e4 with winning the pawn back with strong counterplay. So he protects it with f3, and now I take advantage of the fact that he missed h4 and play knight e6, which blocks the bishop's influence on the a2 to g8 diagonal, and it shouldn't be taken because if it's taken, then f takes e6 will win the material, but will win material with a good position. So he plays queen d2, just retreating the queen back and keeping on the diagonal where it's tickling h6. I play queen d8, trying to bring the queen to a more active post. He plays h4, starting to crush me on the king side as well. You see, unlike this their last game between us where it was very like double-edged, I'm just getting crushed here. Day before my birthday as well, day before I become an adult. And in fact I just got completely impatient here and just lashed out with g5, which just makes it even worse. It's basically losing a pawn, but I just wanted to try and get some inroad to his king. And if he don't take it, I've got knight f4 with counterplay. But there's nothing here anyway. I mean, try and find a good move for black here, just a pawn down, getting crushed. I had to try something. I say if I try to lash out with c5, then he just plays d5. But anyway, I play g5, and after knight takes h6 check, rook h1 may have been even stronger. My idea was that I attack his knight with king h7, and then maybe I can work with an h file because his king's there. So after knight f5, well, I decided to drop the knight in on f4, but now he plays a move which is hard to see, and it's a really good move. He plays king up to g3, because I can't really get his king, and if I take the h4 pawn, he just plays king takes f4, and I'm a piece down, and I've got no way to exploit his advanced king. Try and find a way, say, takes. I mean, there's no way to exploit the king there. Just white's just a piece and a pawn up. So and there's no real defense here. I just dropped another pawn with king g6, but I thought at least it looks pleasing in this position with white kings in g3 and g6. At least it'll make the game in some way memorable. He takes in g5. Again, rook h1 is very strong. Threatening takes and then rook h6, mate. H takes. Now I drop the knight back to e6, which attacks g5 twice. And I'm just trying to get some counterplay. Now he plays rook h1, seizing the h line, and after rook h8, quickest win is rook h5. I mean, he's played very well there. The only mistakes he's making is missing quicker wins, but it is a beautiful finish soon. But he plays knight h4 check. He's down to less than 2 minutes here at this point, so maybe I've got a chance. But king g7 and f4 is immediately crushing, but short of time he just finds quicker. Tries to play simple with bishop takes e6, f takes e6, and rook h2. So he wants to double on the h line and then move his knight away, and then just kill me on the h file. I play d5, e5, and c5, just trying to rip something open. Because his king's on g3 at the end of the, I have 3 pawns down here, but maybe if I can get my bishop active or something, then maybe there's still hope. He plays queen d3, threatening queen g6 check. I played queen takes g5, taking the pawn back and allowing the main idea in the game, which is and now white's got a forced win. See if you can work out a 3-move forced win, which finished the game off. Now the idea is that we want to infiltrate with the queen on g6. That's the first idea to the plan. So first you kick the black queen with f4, and after queen e7, you play queen g6 check, king f8, and now see if you can spot the final move of the game. Quickest win. Good move here, knight f5, good shot this, where if I take the knight, then rook takes HA's mate, and otherwise I'm just dropping the queen. I can't defend the rook with the queen because of his knight, and I'm just losing like big material here, and down to less than a minute as well on clock. And here I threw in the towel. An instructive game this, and it's how dangerous a slow Italian can be. It looks softer than that, but it can be very dangerous, as we're going to see, especially if black plays it wrong, which I did. And it's such a nightmare opening this to face, because white's getting this like Ruy Lopez type pressure, but you can't really like Shieldman them or marshal them or anything. There's not sharp gambits. I mean, it probably with best play doesn't lead to a white advantage. It is a little bit tame, but in this game it certainly isn't tame. And this is another loss to the same guy, and this actually puts him on 6 out of 6 in our rapid play, whereas I'm on 3 out of 6. But I've played tough opponents, so I'm not complaining. And I hope you enjoyed this game and took something from it. Please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.